Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure, it's an honor as usual to be here and always greeting you, bring this message of love to you, this message of emancipation, whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your true identity is your divinity. That's the reason why I want to speak to you concerning how the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. But mainly, I want to discuss the richest man in the time of the Great Depression. Okay, so as we all know, Abdullah, the black mystic from Ethiopia, who I always refer to with joy and happiness in my heart as my ancestor. And it is so good when you can refer to someone as your ancestor who would have done something very noble on this planet. Because I grew up in a predominantly black country. When I say black, I'm talking about people who are melanated, people who have this kind of complexion. And let me say this, that I do not believe in any false identity. I believe in one universal consciousness. There's one life, okay? And I believe there's only the human race. And so I don't get caught up in race and so on, okay? So let me make that clear right now. So, yes, as I was saying, because I grew up on what I was taught, I wasn't taught to embrace my ancestors. I wasn't taught about the greatness of my ancestors. I wasn't taught about the wisdom and intelligence of my ancestors. I wasn't taught that the Bible was a book of wisdom teaching me my spiritual autobiography. I wasn't taught those kind of things. I was taught that I come from a background of slavery, that I come from a background of mediocrity, and that education was the key. I was taught that my ancestors, they were slaves, and as if they were uneducated, uncivilized people who used to live in the jungle of Africa. I was taught those kind of things. I was made to believe things like that, okay? But when we look at the popularity of Neville Goddard right now, and how many people are actually teaching what Neville would have taught, we have to go right back to the source, which is basically his mentor who taught him these things. And Neville testified of the intelligence of Abdullah and the background of Abdullah. Or Abdullah came from Ethiopia. And we all know that civilization started in Africa. All wisdom and spirituality came from Africa also. And we were given secular Christianity, which is a whitewash of our true spirituality, and that would have kept us in limitation and mediocrity. It would have kept us in a place of limitation. It would have kept us in low self-esteem and inferiority complex. Also, secular Christianity would have kept us whereby we feel guilt and shame condemnation and judgment. But when I look at Abdullah, in the time when there was the Great Depression of 1929 to 1939, here we see that there was a man who had the key to all prosperity, a man who had the key to abundance, a man who knew how to create his reality consciously, a man who knew where the kingdom of God was and how to find that kingdom of God, a man who was teaching everyone and everyone who ever come before Abdullah. They thought it an honor to be in the presence of Abdullah because they were amazed of the intelligence of Abdullah and how the things that he was presenting to them, it was making so much sense to them, and they were seeing such big difference in their life in a time of drought, in a time of a great depression, in a time when there was great unemployment, in a time when there was a lot of fear and people all around, because the mentality that was around at that time was a mentality of lack. It was a mentality of scarcity. But here Abdullah was teaching each and every one how to look inwardly, to discover that their identity is their divinity. Here was Abdullah was teaching them that abundance is their birthright, it's the natural state of being. Here was Abdullah teaching them that the Bible is their spiritual autobiography. Here was Abdullah teaching them that a thought is a vibrational frequency, and their thought is what is creating their reality, and that they can create their reality consciously. So basically, Abdullah was the richest man in the time of the Depression, because true riches is you knowing who you are, because true salvation is self-realization. Now, when you know who you are, that is the greatest power. When you know your true identity, that is the power, of which Matthew 6:33 told you, that when you discover the kingdom of God first in your life, because you seek the kingdom of God first, all these things will be added unto you, teaching you that when you discover the secret of creation, you will be able to create your reality consciously, because you would discover the secret of creation. And the biggest secret there is when you come to realize that you are the Lord and Master of your own destiny. When you come to realize that you are the I am, you are God. You are the Alpha and the Omega. You are the Melchizedek, the one who has no beginning of days and no ending, the one who actually has no mother, no father, the eternal one. It is you discovering your eternal self, your higher self. So coming into the discovery of the highest version of yourself is the greatest wealth there is, because there's a pearl of great price, and that pearl of great price is in you. That diamond field is in you. Your acres of diamond, it is hidden within you. And the last place that a man would look for the answers of life is within himself. the last place a man is going to look to find a gold mine is within himself. The last place a man is going to look to find a diamond field is within himself. But you are that pearl of great price. And when you find you will discover that all your life you've been searching to discover yourself. You are searching for yourself. And when you find yourself, you'll realize that you have found God. I'm speaking from experience because I search for God with all my heart, my strength, and my mind. And I search for myself also. And when I found God, I found myself. And when I found myself, I found God. And that is why I can tell you that Abdullah could have told Neville, you have no money, you have no job, but you will be going to Barbados, and you will be going to Barbados first class. Could you imagine yourself without any job, even without a suit, without any money, living in a time of a great depression, a very serious economic downturn, and there's someone saying to you that you're going to travel, and you're going to travel first class. To you, it will sound as if this man is a crazy man, as if he doesn't even know what he's speaking about. But as the time progressed, and Neville became very anxious and started to question what Abdullah would have said to him, Abdullah held firm to his words because he knew that his words would not return unto him void. He knew they must accomplish that which he sent them to. Okay? And so when there was sign that this man, Abdullah, has really found the treasure of life, the greatest wealth there is, Neville became very, very much excited because he went to bed sleeping as if he's in his mother's home in Barbados, as he was instructed to Abdullah, and then wake up one morning to find a letter under his door. And when he opened this letter, there was $50. And $50 in those days was a lot of money. And Abdullah didn't go to the bank and withdraw $50 and put it in an envelope and give it to Neville Goddard. Neville never wrote anyone any letter asking them for $50. Also, Neville didn't went to the bank and take out a loan or borrow a loan. All of this was done purely by imagination. So when I speak about Abdullah being the richest man in the time of the Great Depression, I'm speaking about discovering the true bank, because everyone has a banking system that is built in within them. Everyone have a space program built in them. And so everything that you can think about that is there in science and technology is actually within you, because all things exist in the human imagination. Therefore, when you discover the secret of imagination, you will discover the greatest secret there is. And when you discover the greatest secret there is, That is true riches. That's why I said that Abdullah was the richest man in the time of the Great Depression. And there may have been other people or other men who knew this truth, but we are speaking about Abdullah because Abdullah is being established through the messages, the lectures of Neville Goddard. So we are speaking about someone who's well established of teaching humanity how to prosper in the time of the Great Depression. Okay? So here we see Neville being very much excited about this $50. And when he went to the shipping company, he was told that he was going to travel third class. He been excited that his dream, his goal has been fulfilled, but he failed to realize how definite Abdullah was and how Abdullah was teaching him definiteness of purpose and how to believe in his intuition and believe in the God within himself. And so Abdullah reaffirmed what he would have said to Neville when he said to him, you have gone to Barbados and you have gone first class. So when he went to Abdullah and was rejoicing, Abdullah wasn't having any of it. Abdullah wasn't even pleased because he was still bringing doubt to Abdullah when Abdullah said to him, you've gone first class, and they told him at the shipping company that he was going to go third class, and he was affirming what they would have told him concerning going to third class. And so Abdullah reaffirmed, I said you've gone to Barbados and you have gone first class. And so on the particular day when Neville was to take his journey to Barbados, he was greeted and was told that someone would have cancelled their trip and that he'll be now going first class to Barbados. And he did went first class, teaching us how we are to think first class, or we have to have this first class mentality when we know who we are, when we know we are the creator of our circumstances and that man are not the creatures of circumstances. Circumstances are the creatures of man. When we understand what is true wealth, because most people believe that true wealth is if you have a lot of money, but that's not true wealth, because it's only when you have true wealth that you will be able to gain a lot of money. So wealth have to come before money, because wealth is what really creates money. And when I speak about wealth, I'm speaking about applied knowledge, because applied knowledge is actual wisdom, and that comes from within, because true education is from within. Education comes from the word educo, I think in the Latin, and it means to draw out from, to take from that which is within. And that is why you have to go within and to activate true riches and wealth. You're told, according to Matthew 6:6, that you must go into the secret place. You must go into the closet. And your closet is your place of meditation, where you speak to your Father that is within, and your Father is a higher self, the self of man that creates, the self of man that builds and molds, the self of man that uplifts, the self of man that brings value to all. And that is why the great inventors, they have brought value to all of humanity and raised humanity to another level with their technology or with their invention. Because when man moved from horse and buggy to the automobile, it was a higher level, okay, of movement, of transportation. And then from the automobile to the aeroplane, where the Wright brothers discover the secret of flying. And they were criticized, but they believe in their intuition, they trust their intuition, and they use their creative imagination to give us that form of transportation that we so much benefit from right now, which is flying. And so there's more free movement of the human race, because there's a jet, there's an airplane, there's helicopter, and so on. Yet, to go from point A to point B, we are actually point A and point B, because it can be done in the imagination. You can travel first in your imagination, because if you want to travel physically, you travel first in imagination. And Abdullah taught Neville all these things. So right there, I'm showing you the riches. You see, because aeroplane, it came from the imagination. The jet, the boat, all these things come from imagination. And here man going to bed, sleeping, in his imagination, in his mother's home. And there comes the provision for him to travel over the ocean, to be in that proximity and actually do and be all that he would have imagined. It is telling you of the greatest wealth there is that you can acquire. So it means to be the richest man, whether in the Great Depression or in a country or in a continent or in the world, it means you have to understand your mind and how your mind works. You have to understand who you are, which means you have to be very much in the spirit, because we are a spirit having a human experience. So you have to go beyond human, beyond just this mere existence. You have to hunger and thirst to go further than the ordinary. You have to be extraordinary by your thinking. And you have to have that strong desire to be different. Because if you want to see difference in the world, you have to become that difference. Okay? You want to see change, you must become that change. And all of that is what constitutes riches. And so when you're told to seek ye first the kingdom of God and righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you, you're actually being instructed to discover yourself, to get into self-knowledge, self-revelation, self-identification, which is basically saying knowing who you are. Because when you know who you are, you will know what power you're working with. And when you know what power you're working with, you'll be able to align yourself with the rest of nature, because nature is all about abundance. Nature is all about expansion. Nature is all about purpose. Each and every morning, the sun rises in purpose, and in the evening it's set in purpose, and the sun is never out of alignment of its purpose. And because the sun is in purpose, its purpose, humanity can operate as a collective And those who do not operate as a collective are those who are out of alignment. So basically, what constitutes riches and what constitutes poverty have to do with whether you are in alignment or if you are out of alignment. It's like an athlete who, say, twists his, say, ankle or hurt his back. Let's say he has a slip disc. His body is out of alignment and he would be under pain and he would not be able to function in his full capacity as an athlete. So he would have to visit a chiropractor, and the chiropractor will have an understanding of the anatomy of the body and the skeleton framework. He would be able to push back that part of the body that is out of alignment back into alignment, so that person will be able to function in their full capacity. So just as it is in the physical, so it is in the psychological and in the spiritual world. So we have to get back in alignment. And that is what Abdullah was doing to Neville. He was putting him in alignment by fixing his mind. So if you fix your mind, you'll be able to fix your life. It doesn't matter what is the situation. Okay? If you fix your mind, everything else will be fixed. Because everything that you desire in this world, it was for us a thought, it was for us an idea, it was for us imagine. Because there's a lot of mentalism, and there's none of us in this world who can escape from that law of mentalism. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So true riches deals with your mentality. So the richest man in the time of the depression was a man who was existing on a high level of vibration and frequency, because he understood that everything is energy and that money is energy. Also, Abdullah understood that energy cannot be destroyed, it cannot be created, but it can be transformed. And he taught Neville how to transmute his energy into his reality. And that's what I am teaching you also. Transmutation of energy. Because to manifest anything in this world, you have to understand how to transmute energy. You have to understand that the elements of water, earth, wind, fire, and you being spirit operating those other elements. Everything in this world, doesn't matter what you could think about, it takes earth, wind, water, and fire. And of course, thoughts, it's spirit, okay, for it to be possible. So we are all one. So you are the all, and the all is in you, and you in the all. That is why you've been admonished in the Bible that in that day you will know I in you and you in me. You come to realize that I and the Father are one. You see me, you see the Father. You come to realize God and man are one. And when you come to that place of oneness, you've come to discover the fountain of all good things. And so you'll be like the tree that planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth fruit in due season, and your leaf would not wither. And so Abdullah, in the time of the Great Depression was like that tree planted by the rivers of water that was bringing forth its fruit in due season, and its leaves, they were not withering. And that is why in this time of corona and a time of economic downturn also, and a time where there is great unemployment all around the world, and there's fear all around the world, and many people wondering what's going to become of their job, what's going to become of their business. Here is a man again that looks just like Abdullah, who are telling you to look within, who is telling you that God is your imagination, and that you must use your imagination to create your reality, and that you must do it consciously. Here is a man also telling you to write down the vision, make it plain, and though it tarries, that you must wait, for it is an appointed time. Here is a man again telling you, ask, and it will be given. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be open unto you. And I'm saying to you, all that I'm saying to you is pointing right back to you, because it's right within you. And I'm pointing you to look within yourself. I'm pointing you to commune with your own heart upon your bed and go into that stillness, go into that meditation with your intention. And that's Psalms 4:4. Here am I teaching you to find out which you so love, that which you so desire and will love to manifest. Search for him. In Songs of Solomon, I think it's chapter 3 or chapter 4, verses 1 to 4, I think. You can check it out. You say, I search for him whom I love. That which you love is the thing you so desire, you want to manifest. And it says that as I search for him, I even ask others if they would have seen him. And it says, when I found him, I hold him, I would not let him go. When you find that which you so love and that which you would like to desire in this world, when you have a goal, when you have a dream of doing something that you so love, that it would not come across to you like it's a job, because it's something that you love, and you search and you do find that thing, hold to it and never let it go until you bring it into your mother's bedchamber, into the room of the one that conceived you. Here is where the conception takes place. There's a physical conception in the womb that brings us into this world of limitation, but we are limitless beings. Therefore, the womb of which I speak is a psychological and spiritual womb that brings you into that place of realizing that you are a limitless being, and that you can have and be and do whatever you so desire in this world, and you can do it effortlessly. So you don't have to worry about how it's going to be done, when it's going to be done, how much money you need for it to be accomplished. You're not going to think about these things. Instead, you're going to think about your will. So you're going to have the will to do it. You're going to think about your perception, how you perceive life and how you perceive yourself. And you're going to have memory to remember, to repeat your affirmations over and over and over and over and over up to a certain point in time. And you're going to put your reasoning to work to see that these things that I'm saying to you, that they are true. And you can look around and see the manifestation of every thought that people have ever had in their mind, because everything you see around you, it was first a thought. Then you're going to use your intuition by learning to trust that little voice that is within you, to trust that rich, intelligent man that is within you, which is your inside teacher, the God in you, the very life in you, your guide. And then you must trust your imagination, which is God giving you the image, giving you the picture that you can see things through your mind's eye, through the eye of imagination, through the eye of God, through your supernatural eye, your fourth eye, your third eye, which is the eye of imagination, that creative eye. And so, my brother and my sisters, just as Abdullah never saw depression, he never saw a crisis, he was operating in the sixth sense. And so I'm encouraging you in this time of Corona, where they want you to feast upon the news and they want to change your vibration, and with the influence of social media, and everyone has their own point of view, you have to stick true to yourself. You have to realize that you have greatness in you. You have to realize that you are the richest man or woman in your country, in your state, in your province, wherever it is. That's what you got to affirm. You have to affirm that which you so desire. Grab hold of that which you so desire. Don't think about Corona. Don't think about anything negative. Don't think about what you don't want. Instead, think about what you want. Think of what is possible. For all things are possible to them that believe. Them that believe in themselves. If you don't get up and get something, nothing is going to happen for you. Many people say that God is a provider, and that is true. But you have to know who is God. Because if you don't get up and get, no one's going to provide for you. There's a lot of Goya, which is get off of your ass. You have to know that you must get off of your ass. You can't expect to sit down looking at Netflix and be the richest man in your state or your country. You can't expect to be sitting around looking at movies whole day and wasting time or spending time on the phone for hours and hours, or to be on social media and be controlled by the machines and expect to discover how rich you are or how powerful you are. Abdullah was using his time wisely. Abdullah was giving value to humanity. Abdullah understood the law of giving and receiving. Abdullah understood what it means that as you sow, so shall you reap. If you want value in your life, you have to give value. And the more you give, is the more you're gonna receive. You have to use your gift, your talent, your ability, whatever you've been blessed with, to help to lift the vibration on this planet, because we are one collective, We are one consciousness. Now, the eye can't say it doesn't need the air. The air can't say it doesn't need the nose. The hand can't say it doesn't need the feet. The feet need the hands, and the hands need the feet. So we need each other. Therefore, we have to see life in a different way, especially in this time of a digital age, this information age. Just as it was when in the time of Abdullah they were moving from the agricultural age into the age of industrialization, the age of I would say an age of more wealth, an industrial age. They had to shift their focus, shift their mentality to fit in the industrial age and to move on with the industrial age. So too in this digital age, there must be a shift in your thinking, in your actions, because how you think would mean how you would act. So there must be a shift in your life to move on in this digital age where you'll be competing against the machines. And if you cannot overcome the cell phone, social media, or the influences around you, then a robot is going to take your place. A robot is going to produce more than you. But when you learn to exercise your mind, when you learn to give priority where priority is needed, then you'll be able to strengthen your mind and lift your mind to another level, a higher state of vibration, to take you to another level of frequency, that you can exist above the five senses and above the robots. Because what they're doing, they're taking their consciousness and put it into robots. And if you do not act more wisely, it will seem as if the robots are more intelligent than you. So, as I was said before, true intelligence is actually knowing who you are. When you know who you are, you know how to activate your mind power. You would know that you are the creator. And you can create your reality consciously, but you cannot be lazy. You have to get up. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. You have to be the operant power. You have to write out your affirmations. So you have to do scripting all the time. You have to be praying all the time. When I speak about praying, I'm speaking about inner speaking, inner communication, self-talk, meditation. You have to be on the right kind of thinking throughout the day. There's no time for idle speaking. There's no time for foolish jesting. It's only time to create. And of course, there are times you can reward yourself after you've been very productive. Because all work and no play make Jack a dull boy or Jill a dull girl. So there must be balance. But you must get the work done. You must put in the work. Okay? So all of this constitute riches. I'm teaching you how you must cultivate the right frame of mind to constitute true riches. It's not just gathering information and dwelling on the intellect. Not just dwelling in the realm of memory, what you remember, you hear someone say on the internet or from a book alone. But you making it a part of your life, it becoming a lifestyle. And Abdullah taught Neville how to take what he was teaching him and make it a lifestyle, make it practical, and live the message. and when he lived the message of self-realization, then even now, Neville is gone. Neville is even more richer. Neville is even more influential. Neville is more powerful, and his wealth just keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And we're going to go from generation to generation to generation to generation, because he would have discovered his purpose. And when you discover your purpose, and you take your purpose, and you make sure that it's been put in use to benefit the rest of humanity, knowing that, as I would have said before, we are just one collective, knowing that we are one body, knowing that there's only one life, there's only one God, one creator, one creative power, which is the power of imagining. You will do whatever you do with passion. You will do whatever you're doing, not just for money, but for the love. Because when you do it for money, it means money will become your master. But you are to be the master of money. So, my brother, my sister, it doesn't matter if it is digital money, okay, whether is it silver or gold, whatever form of wealth there is, you have to realize that God is your imagination, and you can use your imagination to accomplish all your goals and all your dreams in life. And that was Abdullah's story, and that is what constitutes Abdullah as the richest man in the time of the Great Depression. Because up to this day, we have seen the wealth of Abdullah still presenting itself to all of humanity and helping humanity and uplifting humanity. And so we see history repeat itself. And here we are again, facing a crisis as it was in 1933, or from 1929 to 1939. We see in another time again of the Great Depression, and we see also one who has the remedy, one who has the strategy, one who's pointing you to look inward to discover that your identity is your divinity, and that you can use your thoughts to create your reality, because it is your own thought that is creating your reality. Therefore, you can create your reality consciously. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I really want to thank you very much for spending this time with me and for enriching yourself with these words of wisdom. It is my desire that these words would build you, that they would strengthen you, that they would motivate you, that they would have you going right now and start writing your desire, and have you keep repeating your desires at morning and at night, and have you believing so much in yourself, and have you going before the mirror and looking at yourself in the mirror with confidence, with surety, knowing that you are the creator, the Lord and Master of your destiny. That is why, my brother and my sisters, I always say to you that hadn't it been that I would have experienced the awakening from within of that single eye within me, I wouldn't have been here bringing this message to you. And it's always a joy and a pleasure for me to give you the symbol of the single eye, saying to you, don't let anyone make you believe it is something evil, because there are those who are using it to keep the masses controlled. But the single eye is the eye of the all-seeing God within you that must awake within you. And when that eye open within you, you would wake from the dream of life and understand why it is said that you shall change from mortal to immortality in a twinkling of an eye. For that twinkling of an eye is an opening of an eye. And you will come into self-realization of knowing who you are, because you would experience that birth from above, the birth from the skull, the virgin birth, where you would ascend on high like a fiery being, and you would hear the unearthly wind, and then you would understand the upper room experience of Acts 2, where you be empowered, awakened, enlightened, and come to realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that is the dawning of a new day in your life. For the sun, as in the S-U-N, parallels the human imagination, the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there is no life, and there is no light, and without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. Therefore, the sun parallels the human imagination parallels the sun. And you're told that the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. That's Psalms 84:11. And Malachi 4:2, you're told also that the Son of righteousness shall arise in you with healing in his wings. That's why I bring healing to you by saying to you that you must use your mind power, which is your solar power, your creative power, your sun power, your God power, to achieve your every desire and live a rich life, just like our ancestor, Abdullah, Neville Goddard, mentor. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all. I'm out.